bad weather, bad fishing. Guess what? That's not happened down on the south coast. I don't know, maybe the south coast just didn't get that memo.
The bottom fishing has been off its head with some really good soldiers, slingers coming up.
Yeah, the rock and surf was off the chart. I'm thinking this coming week is going to be the same.
There you go, buddy. Hit it now!
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Bream.
Hey, hello brothers and sisters of the angle. Welcome back to another show where KZN has not dropped in form, not in the slightest bit. Unlike my voice, guys, disclaimer, I had a throat infection over this weekend, but the show had to go on, right? I had to tell you about all the fishing that is going on. It has been absolutely amazing. Now we know last week it was heavy winds, heavy seas. The apps predicted that the fishing was going to be doom and gloom. However, we did say those that go out and persevere will be rewarded, and boy were they rewarded. Once again, I am glad to report that the Angler News team has had it 100% correct. It was an absolutely fantastic weekend with an array of species, from non-heads to heads, from bream to hammerheads to brusher to sand sharks. Guys, north coast and south coast, the fish were on the bite. Now, if last week's predictions were as iffy as we thought it was going to be, this week, with the weather conditions looking absolutely fantastic, we are poised to get into some fish. Now, our reporters are going to tell you where all those hotspots are and who didn't get the memo about bad weather. So let's get into it. But before we do, huge shout out to our sponsors, the Kingfisher.
The Kingfisher are the leading fishing tackle specialist. We stock gear for every facet of fishing, from carp to Couta, marlin to trout. Basically, everything. We have stores across KZN, from Toti to Salt Rock, Durban to Pietermaritzburg. You can also find us online at kingfisher.co.za.
Thank you, the Kingfisher. By the way, guys, did you know you could also read up on the fishing news? The Kingfisher has the fishing report in the Post, the Witness, the Mercury, and the Daily News. So, yeah, apart from listening to it, you can also read up on it. So, huge shout out to the Kingfisher for driving the fishing news in KZN. Now, let's get into the show. Let's kick it off in my hometown with Mike V and Brad Krubler.
How's it, guys? The week was a little bit on the quiet side, but there were some fish to be caught. The fish came very lots of grey, some hammers, odd good size sandies, some honeys, diamonds, because the weather was perfect. The weather just turned out to be absolutely cracker. So the fish charred like hell, couple greys here and there, some stumpies, but yeah, the rock and surf was off the chart. I'm thinking this coming week is going to be the same, looking absolutely epic. Friday, the groundswell comes in a bit. Not sure if it's going to arrive or not, but we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's going to be epic on the beaches. So it's looking right. It's just looking good. Yeah, for the sandies again, honeys, diamonds, all the flatfish should be here. Saying that, the ski boats and the paddle ski side, Oaks did very well. They did lovely work there. They got snook, they got a couple Couta, there was some tunny. Oaks got amberjacks, they got Cape Yellowtail. The Oaks got, the fish have been trying on the boats when the guys have been launching. Durban Bay, a little bit quiet. I think I'm waiting to see what happens after this rain from this weekend flushes into the bay. I'm hoping that the grunters do come on nicely, the big ones especially, and those cob come back into the bay. Those 4 or 5 kilo size cobs come back. That's what I'm hoping for. I haven't had any reports yet, but we can always hope. Bringer kingies, they have been in the bay. There's been a couple around, even on South Pier and North Pier. There's been a few. So yeah, just have to have a look at it, go have a couple of throws and see what we can see. Guys, thank you very much. This is Mike V for NSA News.
Good day, guys. Brad Linsky, fishing charters. How's the ski boat report for the last week? But what can I say? The bottom fishing has been off its head with some really good soldiers, slingers, and 1 or 2 black mussel crackers coming out in the 30 to 40 meter reef areas. The keelback are still happening out in the deep wrecks, especially off the bluff side and even further south towards the SBM Boy side. On the gamefish side, the water temperature has been slowly climbing up, but not much fireworks. We're a couple of tuna. The snook was still at Blue Lagoon area. If you want to have some fun, that's the thing to do. So, guys, tight lines, and this is Brad for Angling News South Africa, and speak to you guys all next week.
Thank you, Mike and Brad. What a start. What an epic way to kick off the show. All right, so that's Durban. Now, let's move on up to Durban North with Michaela Daniels. Guys, she's been out there fishing again this past couple days. She's been out on the ski boat. She has been landing the fish. All right, so here's what's been going on just outside of Durban, moving up the North Coast.
What's up, everyone? This is Michaela from Durban, reporting for Angler News SA. It's been another awesome week of fishing for our local Durban anglers, with a variety of species having come out. Starting at Blue Lagoon, there were a couple of grunter that came out off the bricks, while the guys on the North Bank are still hooking into some decent cob and stumpies. The river's also been producing quite a lot of small kingies, so if you're looking to have some fun on light tackle and drop shots, Mgeni is definitely the place to try. For our beachwood anglers, there's quite a few lesser sand sharks coming out, as well as a couple of grunter, while the guys at Virginia are still hooking into some lovely pompano and stumpies with the odd grunter in between. And Flonga is still firing with grey sharks with a few rays coming out in between, while the offshore, the snook are still thick on the back line at between Virginia and Blue Lagoon, while there are still a few Dorado being caught in the deep. For the bottoms fishermen, there's quite a lot of geelbeck and mussel cracker coming out amongst the usual reds and rock odds. Moving up to Mfloti for the rock and surf guys, the stumpies and cave bass have been on the bite with a few bronzies coming up in between, while the offshore anglers pulled in some lovely snook and yellowfin tuna, and the bottoms guys had yet another successful week with the geelbeck, with a few anglers hooking into some yellowtail. That's going to be it from me for this week, guys. Tight lines and have a great one.
Thank you, Michaela. What a good report. Such a variety of species coming out, and it's just like a stone throw away outside of Durban. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to go and try that Beachwood area this weekend. It's sounding definitely like a place to be. I mean, she's been catching fish over there the last 2 weeks. I'm certain we're going to get some this weekend. Now, what about further up the North Coast? We have got Deandra, who's been having an absolutely epic time with the fishing. I mean, she has been smiling year to year with the amount of species she's caught over the last week. And, well, she still doesn't know where she wants to go and fish because there's so much action happening all over the place.
Last week, Tuesday, was a tough decision. North Coast or Durban for flatfish. I decided on Durban and the decision did not disappoint. However, if I had to trust my instincts and travel up to the north, I'm sure I would have ended up with an amazing catch to brag about. The fishing activity along the North Coast has been excellent and just improving as we go deeper into the summer season. It just gets better. There have been strong results for the offshore game fish as well as for the rock and surf anglers, despite the challenging conditions presented on some of these days. The anglers pushed through and they have been rewarded. This week, in my opinion, the raggy catchers take the lead with some jaw-dropping catches to brag about on the North Coast side. The anglers put in the time and the effort and for sure reap the rewards. Other species like grey sharks and brown and blue rays ensured for some fun rod bending action, while the offshore anglers took the opportunity of good conditions to reel in some bullfish, marlin, dorado, duggars, and geelback. If you feel like you have missed out on the tuna, no worries. They are still hot on the bite. Top baits of bonito and mackerel helped hook into a few kingfish, while small spoons have been working well for some snook catches. Try some light tackle fun and go scratch around the gullies of the mid-north coast and you will be sure to find some juvenile cob and stumpies that's feeding on chokka and sardine baits, while the prawn baits is a favorite for the bronze beans. This coming week shows a few decent windows of opportunity to target some non-edibles and get those reels screaming. May this week be a productive one. I'm Deandra reporting for Angler News South Africa. Tight lines.
Thank you, Dee. Another great report coming out of the North Coast. I have no doubt as the summer gets on even warmer, there's going to be a lot more action happening out there. As for that offshore side, guys, there is so much of that juvenile Couta, there's wahoo, there's sailies. It is absolutely epic even on the offshore side. All right, so now we know Durban and the North Coast has been absolutely cooking. However, Jan has been getting watered down like you can't believe. He sent me the fishing report and it was absolutely storming out there. So here's his report of what's been going on with the El Nino situation up in the Midlands, as well as the foot and mouth, but more than anything else, the fish that are on the bite.
Hey there, guys. So, with the light dampening typical of summer that I reported on in the Midlands last week, has blown up into a full-scale dumping down or whitewater rafting scenario. Last weekend saw an average of some 40 to 50 mils being delivered across the Midlands, with some tropical water coming down from the northeast. And with La Nina having been confirmed in September, the long-term forecast has it that there's more to come still. The forecast is for above-average rains coming to southern Africa, and this one is expected to persist into early 2026. While this is good news for agriculture and water reserves, it also raises the risk of flooding in some areas, and as witnessed in Newcastle recently. So what does this mean for your fishing? Well, if you don't have the luxury of fishing from a boat and keeping your feet dry, now is the time to ensure that your waders and gumboots are leak-free. And if you're planning to wade the rivers, it might be wise to pack in a pair of water wings and get some practice in swimming with rod in hand. Jokes aside though, keep an eye on the weather and get out when you can, and hopefully stay dry on the day. With the rains, there've been no returns from the Natal Fly Fishers Club river anglers, and a report from the Moy River noted that the level had come up over a meter, and unsurprisingly, the river was muddy and unfishable. And this after being quote-unquote bony and clear some days before. Now, rivers tend to settle almost as quickly as they come up, so keep an eye out for a couple of dry days and head on out. NFFC Stillwater anglers fared only somewhat better, with a single return prior to the rains noting a good number of fish in the 11 to 13 inch, that is 28 to 33 centimeter range, and a couple of bigger specimens pulling in the tape to 15 to 17 inch and or 38 to 43 centimeter class. Other returns reported coming home empty-handed with rain and wind on the day. Guys, a report received today from the Nottingham Road Landowners Association noted that KZN remains the epicenter for infection of foot and mouth disease, and urgently requests the assistance of community and its visitors to familiarize themselves with the serious implications of the disease to help prevent the introduction and spread of foot and mouth in the area. On the bass fishing front, Albert Falls appears to have gone quiet after the previous weekend's Triple T Nationals reported some good fishing. Midmar's apparently fishing slightly better, with some good numbers of small fish noted. Sterkfontein Dam continues to fish well, reports Jeremy Rochester of Escape Fly Fishing, with good numbers of fish coming to hand on the dry fly, notably on hopper patterns. Guys, do stop in the Kingfisher Maritzburg for the best in tackle advice. And this is Jan Corrival reporting for Kingfisher and for Angler News South Africa.
Thank you, Jan. Another great detailed report. As always, we really appreciate all that inside information. So it has been tough out there at Albert Falls and Midmar. However, if you have hit play off the ECR website, you would have seen a massive slab out there, right? That was that bass caught at a private dam. Now, that was from my friend Josh, who got 2 of those within an hour, right? So the private dams are producing the fish. Those farm dams are always healthy and well stocked. So if you have access to that and you want to go and try some of that summer bass action, this is definitely the time to do it. And this is certainly going to be the plans between my guys at Photon and my brother. So, you know what? Watch the space, watch our socials. We're going to show you about some summer bass action in the private dams. Now, let's head on back down to the coast. Let's get to Ray Thompson with what's been going on in the Manzantoti and those surrounding areas.
The first couple of days of our week were absolutely excellent as far as edible fish and flatfish go. The Scotbray area produced some sandies, some grey sharks. Warners produced some grey sharks, some sandies, and some brown skates. The odd honeycomb coming out in the Lovo area. We had some big winds and some big seas. The Bronze Bream guys had a little bit of fun, but the sea got too big over the last day or so. So, unfortunately, the weather, all in all, played a big role in whether you could fish or not. But looking forward, there's quite a few days coming up. This week is the day to get out there and catch some fish. Guys, go out there, have some fun, and enjoy.
Thank you, Ray Thompson. What a great attitude to have. Nice, positive attitude after the great week we've had. I have no doubt this run is going to continue well into the weekend and into next week as well. Now, let's go into the lower South Coast with our South Coast guru, Adam, who is insisting that the South Coast never got the memo about bad weather. What bad weather? The fish are on the bite. This is his report of exactly what's been going on down the South Coast.
Hey, Vinesh, I hope you're doing well, my friend, and all the listeners out there have had an epic week. So in terms of bad weather, bad fishing, guess what? That's not happened down on the South Coast because it has been absolutely epic down on the South Coast. We've had Sandies, we've had Greys, we've had Garrick, we've had Cobb, we've had Bream, we've had Kingies. I mean, what else? What more, Vinesh? I mean, everywhere else, things have been a bit lacking in terms of the fishing. However, down on the South Coast, things have still been producing. So, I don't know, maybe the South Coast just didn't get that memo, Vinesh. But yes, the guys have caught some excellent fish down on the South Coast, so really good to see. Now, in terms of the species, it's been a plethora of species from non-eds to eds, and even the guys on the boats catching tuna and yellowtail. Yeah, I don't know what else more to say. So to all those naysayers and doubters out there, we have the pictures to back it up. We have the proof in the pudding that the South Coast is still one of the best places to fish in KZN. Just really good to see so many species coming out, and even the kingies on plastics. But I do still believe that we are going to have a bit of a later Cobtober, Cob November season. There's loads of shoaly size cob around, some decent ones as well. The guys with the boats getting, yellowtail and tuna like it's coming out of the years. Things have not been obviously great, as we know, with the surf conditions and the wind and a bit of the rain and all that. But the days that have been okay to fish, the guys have got some beautiful species. So, yeah, Vinesh, at this stage, if we catch a unicorn, I wouldn't be surprised anymore. But otherwise, guys, I just want to say stay safe, tight lines, and let's see those catches.
Oh, Adam Lyon, you legend. I mean, it's not often you get Adam lost for words. I mean, this guy could go on with a fishing report for about 7 minutes, and he is so lost for words, even to the point where he feels we are going to catch unicorns. That's how much of fish are coming out down from the south coast. Guys, the Garrick run has not stopped. The cob hasn't stopped. We know the guys are getting shared, but I'm glad to report they are putting it back. So it's just, guys, it's like 2 more weeks. We can hold on for that share. So let's just hold on for that. Let them grow. They are nice sizes. And pretty soon the ban will be over and we can brag about the big ones that we are catching. All right, so cool. Enough of that. Let's talk about what's happening right now. And right now, it's all about the wind that's dropped and the bites that are on. And the bites will be on this weekend. So please, if you're listening to this on Spotify, drop it in the comments. And guys, please give us a rating. It really helps the show. Smash that star button if you think we're doing a great job. And share your catches with us. Contact us via the socials and let us know what's been going on. We'd love to stick your photos out there for those bragging rights which you surely deserve. So guys, that's it for this week's show. I am gonna rest my voice because this weekend I'm gonna be out there making noise, because we are fishing this weekend. So with that being said, until the next one.
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Bream. Find more episodes at ecr.co.za under podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Let's fish for the future.